You're watching the TGM production. Hello and welcome back to Gogglebox World! Yes, it's been a long time no chatter here on the TV show Gogglebox World. I've noticed over the last few years that Gogglebox is quite hard to talk about because the premise is people watching TV. And I thought, oh, why did I make this channel? But when you really look at the reasons why, you can say, well, yes, it's fascinating that this show has managed to get so many international versions, and the fact that an American version keeps on failing, and the fact that it's always quite fascinating when you see the celebrities you get on it, and the fact that they get better celebrities on the Sun Cancer edition than they do the regular celebrity edition, which I think is quite odd. But today, we're doing a short video, less than 3 minutes, because my recording box is going to die, but we wanted to talk about this. Something called a Gogglebox Moment. So this is about the UK Gogglebox at least. I recently interviewed the brilliant Andy Osho, and we were talking about the Gogglebox Moment. This is when a moment on a TV show, whether it's reality, drama, or a film, is so like crazy, weird, amazing, brilliant that it's the moment they choose to react to on Gogglebox. So in the most recent episode of Gogglebox UK, they reacted to Saturday Night Live UK. But the Gogglebox moment from that, according to the producers of the show, was the Tina Fey opening where she spoke to Nicola Coughlan, and well, they didn't show the Michael Cera bit, but they showed the Nicola Coughlan bit and the Graham Norton section. They're the Gogglebox moments. So when you watch dramas like Blue Nights, you have those intense Gogglebox moments. So the Duffel Brothers that invented Stranger Things, their new show, the Gogglebox Moment, was the very beginning. The Gogglebox Moment is different to the moment you see in the coming up type section, because that's saying what's coming up, but that's what everyone wants. So the Gogglebox Moment in, I can't remember now, but there's a few for Last One Laughing. So the Gogglebox Moment for Last One Laughing UK Series 1 was when Joe Wilkinson did the RLLI. That was a Joker that Joe Wilkinson played, but that was a Gogglebox moment. And what I mean by that is that it was so funny to enough people that the producers thought, well, we'll show that bit. Because these bits are there to help represent what the programme is. It was representing what the general consensus might have been. These are seeing it for the first time at that moment. So we're watching their reaction is them watching it for the first time. But it might be similar to our reactions. It might be the same. So having that Gogglebox moment was created to say, you should watch this. Here's an excellent example of why you should watch you should watch this program. So countless programs I've watched because of Gogglebox, but there's moments like Help, My House is Haunted. I would never watch that, but the Gogglebox moment makes it like, well, now I've seen enough of it. So there's a balance. So with the dramas, you're like, oh yeah, that represents the show and it looks really good and I really want to watch that now. There's other moments where it's like, oh, that doesn't look great, I won't watch that. Or the reality stuff, I don't really bother with unless it's a reality competition show that I'm already watching. And I think that makes it more interesting because you sort of see these shows from the angle of what is the best bit of that episode that aired this week. And I think that's good for the that's good for the creative team on those dramas when you think of it in a fictional sense, because it showcases to them that their show was good enough for it to appear in Gogglebox. Look, TV is not for everyone. Everyone will not like the same TV, will not like the same shows, so you might have very different opinions, but the producers try and work out what is the best moment. And that's what me and Andy Osho was talking about, because she was in Blue Lights, and Blue Lights appeared on Gogglebox, and that's when we coined the phrase the Gogglebox Moment, because I feel like that's probably what's going through the producers' heads at all times is we need to find the Gogglebox moment. And I think that's what will help showcase how excellent and how brilliant your show is. So your aim when producing it is not only to make incredible fictional drama if you're doing drama, or really incredible reality TV or faction, whatever, right, make really good TV. You do it for two audiences. One, us watching it from home, and then you're doing it for the Goggleboxers. So what bit do you think is so good it will appear on Gogglebox, right? That's you have to find the balance, and I think that's what's become tricky in the last few years when making TV. But it's a positive step. But throughout this film, as we nearly come towards the end, I've talked a lot about the Gogglebox moment for Gogglebox UK. As not knowing whether or not it's the same, I'm assuming that in Ireland and in Australia and on the Welsh version, if the Welsh version's still running, it hasn't aired in a while, they all probably are still trying to get the Gogglebox moment as well, but it's their TV landscape's different. So in Australia, their Gogglebox moment was when the Australian celebrity Goggleboxers watching someone on TV. So the Australian Goggleboxers watching the celebrity Australian Goggleboxers watching TV, and it's probably the same show they were watching 3 days earlier in that episode. So I do think the priorities are different around the world, but in the UK we've got that particular thing where we want a Gogglebox moment. So, I've said enough. I've said the word Gogglebox and the word moment far too many times now in the last 6 minutes and 54 seconds. I'd like to say thank you for watching. Yes, Gogglebox World has returned. There'll be more videos in the future. And the previous thumbnail I did for Gogglebox World, what's happening next, is going to stick around to be the overall thumbnail like it is on Here's One I made earlier. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you will now understand what a Gogglebox moment is, if any creative in the creative industry says to you, oh, I think we've got our Gogglebox moment. That's the moment that is so good that it gets shown on the television programme in the UK on Channel 4, Gogglebox. And it's probably the same around the world. Right, I'm off to go on a speed jet around the world, 80 days around the world is what I'm going to attempt to do now, to watch every version of Gogglebox ever. Bye-bye!